I saw what happened that night. It wasn't an accident. Sister Agnes was murdered.
In the quiet of the convent, a visitor awakened what the nun tried to bury. The convent's bell tolled like a hesitant heartbeat at dawn, its low bronze clang echoing off the fog-shrouded hills of upstate New York. Sister Elena had risen before the light, as always, her bare feet whispering against the cool oak floors of her sparse cell. 32 years old, with the faint lines of unspoken regrets etching her forehead, she was the youngest sister in Our Lady of Solitude, a place where women like her American-born self came to bury the chaos of the world. But today, as she slipped into her habit, the rough wool scratching her skin like a lover's urgent nails, something stirred in her chest, a flutter she hadn't felt since that rainy night in Boston, a decade ago, when a girl's hand had brushed hers under a street lamp and ignited a fire vows couldn't quench. She knelt in the chapel, the air thick with the scent of beeswax candles and damp earth from the garden outside. Her lips moved in silent prayer, but her mind wandered to the letter on her desk, a request from the Archdiocese for a journalist to interview the sisters about their sustainable farm. A woman from the city, Mother Superior had said. Her voice clipped like scissors through silk. Be hospitable, Elena. God sends trials in unexpected forms. Elena's breath caught, a soft sigh escaping as she crossed herself. Hospitality. Right. As if her heart hadn't already begun its treacherous rhythm, pounding like distant thunder. The heavy oak door creaked open, a sliver of gray morning slicing the dim interior. Footsteps, confident, unhurried, approached the nave. Elena didn't look up at first, forcing her eyes to the crucifix above the altar, where Christ's carved agony mirrored her own buried ache. But the scent hit her next. Leather and rain-soaked wool, mixed with something sharper, like fresh coffee from a Manhattan diner. Then a voice, low and warm, cutting through the silence like sunlight through storm clouds. Excuse me, sister? I'm Alex Harper, from the Times. I hope I'm not interrupting. Elena's head lifted slowly, her veil slipping just a fraction, and there she was. Alex, 28, with the kind of effortless poise that came from city streets and late-night deadlines. Short black hair tousled by the wind, green eyes sharp as emeralds under arched brows, and a smile that tugged at the corners like it knew secrets. She wore faded jeans tucked into boots scuffed from urban sidewalks, a leather jacket slung over one arm, revealing a fitted black tee that hugged her athletic frame, shoulders broad from weekend hikes in the Catskills, hips swaying with the subtle confidence of someone who owned every room she entered. American through and through, born in Chicago but hardened by New York's relentless pulse. Their eyes met and time fractured. Elena felt it like a jolt, electric, forbidden, racing from her chest to her fingertips. Alex's gaze held, softening just a beat too long, her full lips parting as if to say something more, but only a faint exhale followed, warm against the chill air. The journalist extended a hand, callous from typing furious stories on battered laptops, and Elena rose, her own palm cool and trembling as she clasped it. Skin on skin. Just a second, but enough to summon the ghost of that Boston rain. The way another woman's touch had once made her knees weak, her vows a distant echo. Welcome, Elena murmured, her voice huskier than intended, laced with the faint drawl of her upstate roots. She pulled back, folding her hands in her sleeves to hide the flush creeping up her neck. The sisters are at Matins. I can show you to the guest quarters. Alex nodded, her eyes lingering on Elena's face, the high cheekbones dusted with freckles from summer gardens, the lips pressed thin against a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Thanks. This place. It's like stepping into another world. Peaceful. Almost too quiet. She chuckled, low and throaty, the sound vibrating through Elena like a plucked string. As they walked down the cloister, gravel crunching under Alex's boots, birdsong pierced the mist, and Elena caught the faint jasmine of Alex's shampoo, mingling with the convent's lavender fields. It was intoxicating. Dangerous. By breakfast in the refectory, porridge steaming in wooden bowls, the clink of spoons like Morse code secrets, Mother Superior had gathered the sisters. 11 women, all American, their faces weathered by prayer and toil, sat in silence as Alex explained her piece. Sisters of the soil, how faith feeds the forgotten. Elena sat across from her, stealing glances over her copy of the Rule of Saint Benedict. Alex's hands gestured animatedly, fingers long and expressive, nails short and practical, tracing invisible maps of urban hunger. But when her eyes flicked to Elena's, there was no journalism in them. Just heat, questioning, a pull that made Elena's spoon tremble, spilling milk in a tiny white pool that she dabbed away with shaking fingers. After, as the sisters dispersed to chores, Alex lingered. "Mind if I shadow you today? The farm sounds fascinating." Elena hesitated, the air between them thickening like honey. "Of course," she said, leading the way to the orchards. Apple trees heavy with late autumn fruit arched overhead, leaves rustling in a breeze that carried the earthy tang of turned soil. Elena demonstrated the composting, her hands sinking into rich black dirt, demonstrating the cycle of decay and rebirth. Alex watched, closer than necessary, her breath sinking with Elena's as she knelt beside her. "You're good at this," Alex said softly, their shoulders brushing. A spark. Elena froze, dirt crumbling between her fingers. "It's simple work. Turns rot into life." Their eyes locked again and Alex's voice dropped. "Not everything buried stays that way though. Sometimes it pushes through." Elena's heart slammed, a gasp caught in her throat. She stood abruptly, brushing soil from her habit, the fabric whispering against her thighs. "We should check the greenhouse." The day blurred into a haze of stolen moments. Alex's laughter echoing as they harvested kale, her hand steadying Elena's on a wheelbarrow handle. The way her green eyes crinkled when Elena shared stories of her novitiate, 12 years ago, fleeing a family that never understood her quiet rebellions. By vespers, as twilight bled purple across the hills, Elena retreated to her cell, slamming the door on the memory of Alex's scent clinging to her sleeves. She sank to her knees, whispering Hail Marys until her lips numbed. But the words twisted. Not repentance but yearning. A soft sob escaped, muffled by her palms, as the convent's silence pressed in like judgment. That night, rain lashed the windows, thunder rumbling like God's disapproval. Elena lay awake, the wool blanket rough against her skin, imagining, not Christ, but Alex's fingers tracing her collarbone, her lips parting in that same soft exhale. The conflict clawed at her. Vows etched in her soul versus this awakening, raw and relentless. Down the hall in the guest room, Alex tossed on crisp linens, her notebook open to scribbled notes. Sistery eyes like hidden rivers. What's she hiding? She sighed, deep and frustrated, punching her pillow. The storm outside mirrored the one brewing within. Professional curiosity twisting into something deeper. A pull toward the woman whose quiet strength made her own chaos feel small. Morning came too soon, the bell tolling again. Elena rose, splashing cold water on her face, the droplets stinging like tears. In the chapel she lit candles, their flames dancing shadows on the walls. Footsteps approached. Alex, hair damp from a hasty wash, jacket zipped against the chill. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked, sliding into the pew beside Elena. Too close. The wood creaked under her weight, and Elena inhaled sharply, the leather and jasmine assault renewed. "No," Elena admitted, her voice a thread. "Storms. They unsettle." Alex turned, her knee brushing Elena's habit. "They do. But they clear the air too. Make room for whatever comes next." Her hand hovered, then rested on the pew between them, inches from Elena's. The air hummed. Elena's pulse thundered in her ears, drowning the distant drip of rain. She wanted to pull away. God, she wanted to lean in. The main fracture line of her life cracked wider. Faith's iron cage versus this woman's magnetic gravity, threatening to shatter everything she'd built. As the first rays pierced the clouds, painting the crucifix gold, Alex whispered, "Tell me about you, Elena. Not the sister. The woman." Elena's breath hitched, a tear tracing her cheek. The hook was set, deep, barbed, irreversible. And in that sacred quiet, the buried stirred, clawing toward the light. The greenhouse hummed with midday warmth, glass panes fogged from the steam of potted herbs and the sisters' murmured chants. Elena led Alex through rows of basil and thyme, their leaves releasing bursts of citrus and earth with every brush of fingers. "We sell these at the farmer's market in town," Elena explained, her voice steadying as she focused on the task, clipping stems with shears that snipped like whispered confessions. But Alex was a shadow at her side, notebook tucked away now, her presence a constant brush of energy. Elbows grazing as they bent to inspect tomato vines heavy with red orbs, breaths mingling in the humid air. "You're a natural teacher," Alex said, wiping sweat from her brow with the back of her hand, leaving a smudge of soil like war paint. Her tea clung slightly, outlining the curve of her collarbone, and Elena averted her eyes, heat flooding her face unrelated to the sun. "It's the rhythm of it," Elena replied, forcing a smile. "Plant, nurture, harvest. Like prayer." Alex leaned against a workbench, arms crossed, her green eyes probing. "Prayer for you, does it ever feel confining? Like you're holding back a storm?" Elena's shears paused mid-cut, the metal glinting. Confining. The word landed like a stone in still water, ripples spreading to her core. She thought of her entry into the convent at 20, fresh from a college where parties blurred into stolen kisses with a roommate named Sarah. Soft lips tasting of cheap wine, hands fumbling in dorm shadows. The guilt had driven her here, to vows that promised peace but delivered only echoes. "It's a choice," she said finally, voice cracking like dry leaves. "To serve something greater." Alex stepped closer, the workbench creaking under her hip. "Greater than what?" "Than feeling alive." Her tone was gentle, not accusatory, but laced with that Chicago edge, blunt, unyielding. The air thickened, scented with wet soil in Alex's proximity. Elena's heart raced, a wild thing caged, and she set the shears down with a clatter that echoed too loud. "You don't understand," she whispered, meeting Alex's gaze. Those eyes, storm-tossed seas, held no pity, only invitation. "I buried it. For this." Alex's hand moved then, tentative, brushing Elena's wrist where the habit's cuff rode up, exposing pale skin veined blue. The touch was featherlight, but it burned, sending a shiver up Elena's arm. She gasped, soft and involuntary, pulling back as if scorched. "Alex." "Sorry," Alex murmured but didn't retreat, her fingers curling into the wood. I see you, Elena. The way you move like you're dancing with ghosts. It's beautiful. And it hurts to watch." Tears pricked Elena's eyes, hot and unbidden. Beautiful. No one had called her that in years. Not since Sarah's whispers in the dark. The greenhouse door banged open then, Sister Margaret calling from the path, her voice a lifeline. "Elena, the novices need you for Vespers prep." Elena nodded, wiping her cheek with her sleeve. "Coming." She fled the warmth for the cool cloister, leaving Alex amid the green, her own chest heaving with the weight of what she'd almost unleashed. That afternoon, as rain pattered on the roof during silent reading in the library, Elena buried herself in an old volume of St. Teresa, mystical ecstasies that now read like coded longings. Across the room, Alex pored over convent archives, her pen scratching furiously, but her glances were arrows, finding Elena's bent head every few minutes. The journalist's mind whirled. Elena's laugh earlier, rare and bell-like over a shared joke about stubborn weeds. The way her fingers, dirt-streaked and graceful, had lingered on a flower petal. Alex had come here for a story, faith versus famine in Trump's America. But now? Now it was personal. She'd sworn off entanglements after her last breakup. A fiery photographer who left her hollow in a Brooklyn walk-up. But Elena. She was a revelation, quiet fire wrapped in wool. Dinner brought forced normalcy. Bread still warm from the oven, its yeasty aroma mingling with stewed venison from the hunt. The sisters ate in contemplative quiet, broken only by the scrape of forks and the occasional cough. Alex sat beside Elena again, their thighs inches apart under the long table, the contact a secret current. "This is incredible," Alex whispered, leaning in under cover of passing the salt. Her breath tickled Elena's ear, sending gooseflesh down her neck. "You made the bread?" Elena nodded, throat tight. "Rise and knead. Patience." Alex's knee nudged hers. Accidental? Intentional? And Elena's fork slipped, clanging. Heads turned. Mother Superior's gaze sharpened like a hawk's. Elena flushed crimson, murmuring grace louder to cover the slip. Later, in the dim parlor where sisters gathered for recreation, knitting needles clicking like gossiping tongues, Alex cornered Elena by the hearth. The fire crackled, embers popping like suppressed desires, casting flickering gold on their faces. "Walk with me," Alex asked, voice low. Elena hesitated, glancing at the clock, 8 strikes, curfew looming. Just to the gate. Please. The plea in Alex's eyes undid her. They slipped out into the drizzle, cloaks hooding them like conspirators. The path wound through the orchard, puddles reflecting stars peeking through clouds, the air alive with crickets' chorus and the patter on leaves. Why does it scare you? Alex asked abruptly, stopping under an apple tree, its branches heavy like laden promises. Elena leaned against the trunk, bark rough through her habit, rain dripping from boughs onto her hood. What? This. Whatever this is. Alex's voice trembled now, vulnerability cracking her city armor. Elena's laugh was bitter, a huff of mist in the cold. There is no us. I'm a bride of Christ. You're a storm passing through. But even as she said it, her hand reached out, tracing the rain on Alex's cheek, cold droplet, warm skin. Alex caught her wrist, holding it there, thumb stroking the pulse point. Storms don't pass without changing the landscape. Their faces inches apart, breaths mingling. Mint from Alex's gum, chamomile from Elena's tea. Elena's eyes fluttered shut, the pull magnetic, inevitable. Then lips brushed, not quite a kiss, a graze like fate's tease. Elena jerked back, heart hammering, a sob wrenching free. I can't. God forgive me, I can't. She fled to the convent, door slamming behind her, leaving Alex in the rain, soaked and stunned, whispering fuck to the night as thunder rolled approval. In her cell, Elena collapsed against the door, sliding to the floor, habit pooling like spilled ink. Sobs came hard now, racking her frame, the stone floor biting her knees. The graze lingered on her lips, a phantom burn. She'd buried it so deep, the want, the sin, the truth of who she was. A woman who loved women, cloaked in piety to survive a world that called it abomination. But Alex had unearthed it, tender and terrifying. Outside, Alex paced the guest room, towel drying her hair, the mirror fogged like her thoughts. She typed a draft on her phone. In solitude, desire blooms wildest. Deleted it. Typed, she's breaking me open. Sent nothing. Instead, she lay staring at the ceiling beams, the rain's rhythm lulling her into dreams of veiled embraces. Dawn broke clearer, birdsong a mocking serenade. Elena avoided the chapel, tending the apiary instead. Bees droning in golden hives, their hum a frenzy of instinct she envied. Alex found her there, toolbox in hand, offering to help repair a warped frame. Their fingers brushed over screws, sparks flying unspoken. Last night, Alex started. Elena cut her off, voice fierce. Doesn't change anything. But her eyes betrayed her, soft with longing. Alex nodded, jaw tight. It changes everything. The bees buzzed louder, as if sensing the hive's fracture. By noon the interview deepened. Alex probing Elena's passed over tea in the sunroom, steam curling like secrets. What brought you here? Really? Elena's cup rattled in its saucer. Loss. A family that prayed harder than they loved. A girl who. She trailed off, cheeks burning. Alex leaned forward, elbows on knees, voice a coax. Who what? Who made me feel seen? Alive. Wrong. The admission hung, heavy as incense. Alex's hand covered hers, warm, steady. Not wrong. Human. Elena didn't pull away this time, the touch anchoring her storm-tossed soul. But as the bell tolled for none, reality intruded. Mother Superior's shadow in the doorway, eyes narrowing at the contact. That evening, confession loomed. Elena knelt in the booth, lattice screen veiling her from Father Michael's distant voice. Bless me, for I have sinned. The words tumbled, the thoughts, the touches, the graze in the rain. Penance. 50 Our Fathers, a day of silence. But absolution felt hollow. The priest's murmur wrote against her roaring heart. Emerging, she collided with Alex in the hall, the journalist's arm steadying her. You okay? Alex's concern was a bomb, eyes searching. Elena nodded, mute from her vow. But her hand squeezed Alex's bicep, brief, desperate. Message received. The night deepened the rift. Alex, insomnia's victim again, wandered the grounds, flashlight beam cutting fog. She found the orchard, that tree, and carved a small heart in the bark with her pocket knife. E+A initials intertwined. A foolish gesture, but it eased the ache. Back inside, Elena broke her silence in her journal, pen scratching furious. She awakens the dead in me. What now, Lord? The convent slept, but in 2 rooms divided by stone. Hearts beat in sync, the conflict cresting like a wave poised to crash. Midweek brought the farmers' market in Willow Creek. A dusty town square ringed by pickup trucks and American flags snapping in the autumn gusts. The sisters' stall brimmed with jars of honey glinting amber, bundles of kale tied with twine, and loaves wrapped in checkered cloth. Wholesome Americana, the kind that masked deeper hungers. Elena manned the counter, her habit a beacon amid flannel-shirt locals haggling over prices, their drawls thick as molasses. "How's the yield this year, sister?" old Mr. Harlan asked, coins clinking into the tin. "God's grace," she replied, smile practiced, but her eyes scanned the crowd for Alex, who insisted on tagging along for color. There, leaning against a lamppost, notebook in hand, interviewing a vendor about heirloom apples. Alex's laugh carried over the din, rich and unfiltered, drawing Elena like a moth. She wore a plaid shirt rolled to her elbows, jeans faded at the thighs, boots planted wide. Every inch the out-of-towner blending in, her Chicago roots showing in the easy banter. When their gazes locked across the square, Alex's face lit, a grin splitting wide, and she wove through the throng, basket swinging from her arm. "Sold out the bread already? You're a rock star." Her voice teased, but her eyes held heat, remembering the orchard's almost kiss. Elena busied herself rearranging jars, the glass cool under her palms. "It's the sisters' work. I just sell." Alex set her basket down, close enough that Elena caught the faint musk of her soap, pine and citrus, evoking weekend escapes to the Adirondacks. Humble as ever. "Hey, want to grab a coffee after? There's a diner down the block." My treat for the story. The invitation hung, innocent on the surface, but laced with undercurrent. Elena's pulse quickened, the market's buzz fading to a hum. Coffee. Normal. Harmless. Except nothing with Alex was. The van leaves at 2. A lie she could walk back. Alex's brow quirked, reading her. 15 minutes then. Come on, live a little. The bell on the diner's door jingled like a warning as they entered, the air thick with frying bacon and percolating Joe jukebox crooning Patsy Cline's ache. They slid into a vinyl booth, red and cracked like old wounds, menus sticky under Elena's fingers. Alex ordered black coffee, Elena herbal tea. Her compromise with the world. "So," Alex started, stirring sugar with a clink-clink that set Elena's teeth on edge. "Tell me about growing up here." Upstate girl becomes nun. Sounds like a plot twist. Elena traced the Formica's grain, memories surfacing. Catholic school in Albany, rosaries clutched against playground crushes on girls with ponytails and fierce swings. It was safe. Predictable. This life. It's the same. Alex sipped, eyes over the rim intense. Safe's overrated. I left Chicago after my folks disowned me, said my lifestyle was a phase. Turns out loving women isn't a phase. It's me. The confession landed soft, but Elena flinched, steam from her tea blurring her vision. Loving women. Alex said it plain, like ordering pie, no shame in her voice. Elena's throat tightened, envy and terror twisting. They came around? Eventually. Mawson's care packages, pierogies and guilt trips. Alex chuckled, but her eyes darkened. Point is, burying it almost killed me. Don't let it kill you. The words pierced, a scalpel to scar tissue. Elena's hand trembled, cup rattling. It's not that simple. Alex reached across, covering her knuckles, rough from typing, warm as sin. It could be. With the right person. Their eyes locked, the diner's chatter a distant roar, and Elena felt the dam crack. A tear slipped, splashing into her saucer. Alex's thumb stroked her skin, circular, soothing. Hey, I'm here. The touch lingered until the waitress cleared her throat, plates clattering. They pulled apart, flushed, the moment suspended like smoke. Back at the stall, the drive home was silent torture in the rattling van. Sisters' hymns droning as backdrop. Elena stared out at passing farms, cornstalks like sentinels, silos silver in the sun, her mind replaying Alex's hand, her words. That night, Compline prayers felt like chains, the Latin rolling off her tongue mechanical. In her cell she paced, candle flame guttering, shadows dancing like temptations. A knock soft, insistent. Alex in borrowed robe, hair loose and wild. Couldn't sleep. Talk. They sat on Elena's narrow bed, springs creaking under their weight, the room tiny and close, bookshelves crammed with theology, a crucifix watching. Alex's knee pressed Elena's, heat seeping through fabric. I'm sorry about today. Pushing. Elena shook her head, voice whisper. You see too much. Alex turned, face inches away, breath minty. Because I feel it too. This connection. It's not just story fodder. Her hand cupped Elena's cheek, thumb tracing jawline, and Elena leaned in, eyes closing. The kiss came slow, lips tentative, then hungry, Alex's mouth soft and demanding, tasting of coffee and courage. Elena melted, hands fisting Alex's robe, pulling closer. Tongues met, a spark to tinder, moans muffled against skin. Alex's fingers tangled in Elena's hair, veil tumbling forgotten, the kiss deepening with years of suppressed fire. Elena's body arched, sensations flooding. Alex's curves yielding under her palms, the scrape of teeth, the wet slide that made her gasp. It was revelation, sinful, sacred, her vows shattering like glass under the weight of want. They broke apart, panting, foreheads pressed, Alex's whisper ragged. God, Elena. But reality intruded. Footsteps in the hall. They sprang apart, Elena's veil snatched up, heart pounding like a war drum. Alex slipped out, leaving Elena curled on the bed, lips swollen, body thrumming. She touched them, tasting salt, tears or sweat, and wept silently, the crucifix's gaze accusatory. Desire awakened, but so had dread. Exposure meant ruin for both. Down the hall, Alex punched the wall lightly, knuckles smarting, a grin breaking despite. The kiss, electric, affirming, confirmed it. Elena was her match, veiled or not. But the convent's walls loomed, a maze of piety and peril. Next day dawned crisp, frost limming the windows like lace. Elena avoided Alex during chores, weeding the herb garden with furious tugs, soil caking her nails black as guilt. Alex shadowed Mother Superior instead, notebook filling with quotes on stewardship, but her mind wandered to Elena's taste, sweet, forbidden. Lunch brought confrontation. In the scullery, sleeves rolled for dish duty, water splashing as they scrubbed side by side. Last night, Alex began. Elena's sponge squeezed hard, suds foaming. Mistake. Won't happen again. Her voice brooked no argument, but her eyes pleaded, stay, go, forgive me. Alex dried a plate with deliberate slowness, cloth whispering. Liar. You felt it. Elena slammed her sponge down, water arcing. And what? I leave everything? For what? A fling with a reporter who'll write me up and leave. Hurt flashed in Alex's eyes, raw. Not a fling. And I'd never out you. The air crackled, tension coiling. Elena stepped closer, voice hiss. You already have. Waking what's buried. Alex grabbed her wrist, pulling her into the pantry shadows, door clicking shut. Then let it breathe. Their mouths crashed again, fiercer, hands roaming. Elena's under Alex's shirt, tracing ribs. Alex's in her hair, angling deep. Pots clanged outside, a near miss. They parted, gasping, Elena's habit askew. Alex's shirt untucked. This ends badly, Elena panted. Alex cupped her face, fierce. Or beautifully. The bell tolled, summoning them back. But the seed was planted, deep, defiant. As evening fell, a storm brewed, clouds boiling over the hills. Elena sought solace in the chapel, prostrate before the altar, whispers fervent. Lead me not into temptation. But temptation knocked. Alex, candle in hand, sliding into the pew. Join me. No words, just hands linking in the dark, fingers interlacing like vows unspoken. Thunder rumbled, lightning flashing their faces. Elena's tear-streaked, Alex's determined. The conflict peaked. Love's thunder versus faith's lightning, illuminating cracks no prayer could seal. The storm broke with biblical fury that night, wind howling through the convent's eaves like damned souls, rain lashing windows and sheets. Elena lay rigid in her cell, sheets twisted around her legs, the kisses echo pulsing in her veins. Every creak of settling beams conjured Alex's touch. Fingers sure, lips insistent, stoking a fire vows had banked but never extinguished. She rose, pacing barefoot, floorboards cold as penance, and lit her candle, flame trembling like her resolve. The journal beckoned, she scrawled feverishly. She is the serpent, sweet and wise. But Eden called. Dawn crept in gray, the air heavy with petrichor and unrest. Breakfast was a minefield. Alex across the table, eyes downcast over oatmeal, but her foot accidental. Nudged Elena's under the bench. A jolt electric. Elena choked on her spoon, coughing into her napkin. Mother Superior's gaze lingering suspicious. A cold coming on, sister? The elder asked, voice syrup over steel. Just the damp, mother. Elena's reply was meek, but inside turmoil roiled. Guilt gnawing like rats in the walls. After she fled to the laundry, steam rising from vats like ghosts, the scrub of lye soap on linens a rhythm to drown thoughts. But Alex appeared, sleeves hitched, offering help. Let me earn my keep. They worked in tandem, elbows brushing over basins, water sloshing warm. Silence stretched, broken only by the ringer's squeak and distant birds reclaiming the sky. Finally, Alex. We need to talk. Properly. Elena wrung a sheet, vicious, water spraying. There's nothing to say. It stops. Alex snatched the end, pulling Elena close across the fabric, faces inches apart, breath sinking. Bullshit. You're terrified and I get it. But pretending? That's the real sin. Elena's eyes blazed, voice whip. You think this is easy for you? Waltzing in, stirring mud. Then what, back to your skyscrapers? Alex's grip tightened, sheet dripping between them. I'd stay. For you. The words hung, a lifeline or noose. Elena yanked free, sheet flapping like a flag of surrender. You don't know me. I know enough. Alex's voice cracked, green eyes stormy. The way you light up when you laugh. How your hands shake when you're passionate about the garden. You're alive, Elena. Don't die here. Tears welled. Elena dashed them away, fleeing to the drying yard. Linens billowing on lines like sails in wind. Alex followed, cornering her against the fence, wood splintery under Elena's palms. Fight me on it. Yell. But don't lie. Their argument dissolved into a kiss. Desperate, devouring. Elena's back to the slats, Alex's body pinning. Hands roaming hips, eliciting a moan swallowed by thunder's after growl. They broke gasping, reality crashing. Novices giggling nearby, mistaking the hug for sisterly comfort. Elena straightened her veil, heart jackhammering. This is madness. Alex grinned, rueful, thumbing lipstick from Elena's lip. Best kind. But as they parted, doubt seeded. How long before the walls closed in? The afternoon brought archdiocesan visitors. A bishop in crisp black, entourage trailing like shadows, inspecting the farm for expansion funds. Elena guided the tour, voice steady as she pointed out solar panels glinting on the barn, her habit a shield. Alex tagged along, camera clicking discreetly, capturing Elena in golden light. Profile serene but eyes haunted. The bishop droned on vocations, his cologne cloying, and Elena nodded. But her mind wandered to Alex's profile beside her, jaw set, admiration fierce. Sister Elena exemplifies devotion, the bishop boomed, clapping her shoulder. She forced a smile, the touch paternal, platonic. Everything Alex's wasn't. Dinner that eve was formal. Venison roast scented with rosemary, candlelight flickering on silver. The bishop held court, tales of Vatican intrigue. But Elena barely heard. Fork pushing peas like burdens. Alex, seated opposite, played the journalist, probing questions sharp. But her foot found Elena's again, deliberate now, tracing ankle. Heat flooded. Elena's grip whitened on her knife, a soft exhale betraying. The bishop noticed nothing, but Mother Superior's eyes narrowed over her wine. All well, sister? Perfectly, mother. Lie tasted bitter. Post-meal, the parlor hosted recitations, psalms intoned, voices blending in minor keys. Elena slipped away early, claiming fatigue, but detoured to the guest wing. Alex waited in the hall, door ajar, pulling her inside with a finger to lips. The room smelled of her, leather satchel, hotel shampoo, and Elena's resolve crumbled. They tumbled to the bed, kisses frantic, hands exploring. Alex peeling back Elena's habit layers, fingers cool on heated skin. Elena's nails raking Alex's back, drawing a hiss of pleasure. Beautiful, Alex murmured, lips trailing neck, collarbone eliciting shudders. Elena arched, whispering yes. A litany of release, Breasts freed, nipples peeked under Alex's tongue, gasps echoing soft. Clothes shed in heaps, bodies bare. Elena's soft curves from convent comforts, freckles mapping like stars. Alex's toned from runs in Central Park, scars faint from childhood falls. They moved together, skin sliding slick, moans building to crescendo. Fingers delving, hips grinding, the bed frame thumping rhythm like a heartbeat. Climax hit Elena like grace, waves crashing, cries muffled in pillow. Alex following, shuddering, name a prayer on her lips. After, tangled in sheets damp, breaths evening, Alex traced Elena's spine. Stay tonight. Elena's heart clenched, want ward with fear. Can't. Dawn prayers. She dressed hurried, kisses lingering at the door. A stolen I love you, from Alex hanging unanswered. The hallway loomed empty, but Elena's steps echoed guilt. Back in her cell she knelt, rosary beads biting palms, but ecstasy's afterglow mocked repentance. Love, raw, reciprocal, clashed with her calling, the fracture widening to chasm. Next morn the bishop's departure brought relief, his Mercedes crunching gravel away. But tension simmered. Mother Superior summoned Elena to her office, room austere with crossbeams like bars. The journalist, too familiar, sister. Guard your heart. Elena's blood iced. Yes, mother. Dismissed, she sought Alex in the library, finding her amid stacks, book open but unread. We have to cool it, Elena urged, voice low. Alex closed the tome, poetry, Sappho, eyes flashing. Or what? Face it. Argument flared, whispers hissing. Elena's my soul's at stake. Alex's your life slipping away. They parted fuming, air charged. Afternoon chores fractured further. Alex helping in the dairy, milking cows with rhythmic tugs, but her glances at Elena barnbound seethed resentment. A pail overturned, milk foaming white, symbol apartment evening mass, Elena at the lectern reading Isaiah. Though your sins be as scarlet. Voice breaking on the verse, tears blurring script. Alex in the back pew, heart aching, notebook idle. Postmass, reconciliation. Under the stars by the pond, frogs croaking chorus. I'm scared, Elena admitted, hand in Alex's. Me too. But together. Alex pulled her close, kiss sealing pact, tender, promising. Yet dawn brought reckoning. A letter from the archdiocese, praising Alex's draft, requesting Elena's photo for the feature. Exposure loomed, love's light or pyre. The storm within raged fiercer than any outside. Climax building inexorable. Friday's frost etched lace on the chapel windows, sunlight fracturing into prisms that danced across pews like fleeting hopes. Elena traced one with her finger during lauds, the cold glass numbing her skin, mirroring the chill in her bones. The night with Alex replayed in fragments, skin on skin, gasps in dark, the unguarded I love you that had lodged in her throat like a thorn. Love, the word terrified, exalted. She'd slipped back to her cell pre-dawn, habit donned hasty, but the scent of Alex clung, musk and salt, betraying her to the mirror's unforgiving gaze. Chores commenced. Elena in the bakery, dough yielding under her fists, kneading aggression into loaves that rose defiant. Flour dusted her like snow, but her mind fermented doubt. Vows versus this blaze, the convent's rhythm clashing with Alex's chaotic pull. The oven's heat blasted, loaves browning golden, aroma curling through vents. Alex wandered in, ostensibly for research on communal meals, but her eyes devoured Elena, lingering on flour-smeared cheeks. Smells like heaven, she said, voice husky. Elena punched dough harder, clouds puffing. Or hell. Alex flanked her at the counter, hip bumping playful. Or hell then. Their banter crackled but undercurrent pulled. Hands brushing over rolling pin, breaths quickening. Elena pinned her against the wall, kiss fierce. Flour transferring, tongues battling like fencers. Alex moaned low, hands cupping Elena's rear through wool. Here? Bold. Elena pulled back, eyes wild. Insane. But she didn't stop, leading Alex to the storeroom, door barred. Amid sacks of grain they devoured. Habits hiked, jeans unzipped, fingers urgent. Elena stroking Alex to shudders, Alex's mouth on her neck biting soft. Release came swift, stifled cries echoing in sacks rustle. After slumped against burlap, Elena whispered, "This devours me." Alex kissed her temple. Let it. We'll rebuild. Reality intruded. The market run loomed, crates loaded in the van's belly. En route to Willow Creek, sisters chattering hymns, Elena and Alex squeezed rear bench, thighs pressed, hands linked hidden under a shawl. The town bustled, fiddles from a bluegrass band, apple cider steaming, locals thronging stalls. Their booth thrived, Elena haggling with a grin that reached her eyes for once, Alex snapping pics, capturing her unguarded joy. Perfect shot, Alex murmured, showing the screen. Elena mid-laugh, veil askew, face alight. Elena blushed. Delete it. Never. Lunch at the diner again, booth their sanctuary. Over burgers, juicy, forbidden for fasts. Alex probed deeper. After the convent? Dreams. Elena chewed slow, ketchup tangy. Never thought beyond. You. Alex's eyes distant. Book deal maybe. Cabin in the woods. You in it. Elena's heart stuttered. Me? Free. The concept dazzled, terrifying. Why not? Alex's hand squeezed hers under table. Because we choose. Outside, kids laughed on swings, chains creaking, freedom's simple song. Return brought storm clouds, literal and figurative. Night fell heavy, Compline a dirge. Elena confessed again, booth's lattice a confessor, but words faltered. Fornication. Twice, penance heavier. Novena, solitude. Emerging, she collided with Sister Margaret, eyes knowing. The visitor leaves Sunday. Pray. Elena nodded, fleeing to the roof. Accessed by hidden stairs, a perch for stargazers. Wind whipped her habit, stars pinpricks of possibility. Alex found her, blanket in tow, wrapping them both. Hiding. Thinking. They lay side by side, heads on elbows, constellations wheeling. Alex traced Orion. Hunter. Like me chasing you. Elena's finger followed. Cassiopeia. Chained queen. Silence then. I'd break your chains. Kisses under stars led to more, blanket cocoon. Hands wandering, chilled skin, warming with friction. Elena atop, grinding slow, Alex's gasps fogging air. Climaxes synced, cries lost to wind. After entwined, Elena voiced fear. Sunday. You go. Alex's arms tightened. Come with. Elena's tears wet Alex's shoulder. Can't abandon them. They'll survive. You won't. The debate raged. Love's call versus duty's anchor. Until sleep claimed dawn creeping thief. Saturday's photoshoot dawned brittle. Elena in habit pristine, posing by the garden gate, smile forced as flash popped. Alex directed from sidelines, voice professional, but eyes screamed possession. Tilt head perfect. Lunch post-shoot. Picnic by pond, sisters distant. Alex unpacks sandwiches, grapes bursting juice. Taste freedom. Elena bit sweet. Tempting. They fed each other. Fingers lingering, laughter bubbling. Afternoon. Boat rode on pond, oars dipping splash, ripples mirroring turmoil. Alex's hand on Elena's knee underwater. Decision time. Evening mass, Elena's reading quavered. Prodigal son returns grace. But her prodigal heart yearned outward. Postmass confrontation. Mother Superior in office, Elena summoned. The journalist's article, glowing, but your involvement. Unseemly. She leaves tomorrow. Elena's voice rose unbidden. She's good. For us. Mother's eyes pierced. For you perhaps. Temptation wears many faces. Elena fled, slamming door, first rebellion. Seeking Alex, she found her packing, satchel zipped half. Don't go yet. Alex turned, face crumpling. Hurts too much. They collided, bed claiming, love-making, tender, exploratory. Alex's tongue mapping Elena's folds, eliciting sobs of surrender. Elena's fingers curling inside, drawing Alex's arch, I love you. Elena gasped, first utterance. Alex's response. Climaxes keen. After plans hatched, Elena requesting leave, Alex delaying flight. But midnight brought crisis. Footsteps, door pounding. Sister Margaret frantic. Mother's ill heart. Call ambulance. Chaos erupted. Van revving, sirens wailing distant. At hospital, sterile halls reeked of antiseptic. Mother on gurney, face ashen. Elena held her hand, vows reaffirmed in vigil. Alex waited lobby, coffee cold, heart fracturing. Dawn's wait. Mother stabilized, but Elena's choice crystallized, duty first. Stay. Alex begged, eyes red. Must. Kiss goodbye in parking lot, rain starting, brief breaking. Alex's car crunched away, taillights fading. Elena returned, Convent hollow. But buried no more. Love seed sprouted, promising bloom beyond walls. Conflict resolved? Not yet. Climax brewed in absence's ache. The weeks post-Alex blurred into monastic fog. Convent routines a numbing balm. Elena rose at lauds, chants her armor, but every tolling bell echoed Alex's laugh. Every garden bloom recalled fingers intertwined. Mother Superior recovered slow. Her office now a sickroom of monitors beeping like accusations. Gratitude, child, she'd murmur, hand frail in Elena's. But Elena's prayers twisted. Thanksgiving laced with pleas. Return her storm or grant strength to forget. Letters came. Alex's first, scrawled on time's stationery, words tumbling passionate. Miss your fire. Cabin waits. Elena burned it in the hearth, ashes swirling like doubts, but kept the next. Photo enclosed, them at market, joy captured. Tucked under mattress, talisman. Winter gripped upstate fierce. Snow blanketing fields white as absolution. Winds howling isolation. Elena shoveled paths, breath clouding, body aching from unshared nights. Dreams plagued. Alex's body arching under hers, green eyes pleading. Waking her sweat damp, fingers wandering self-consolation, guilt chasing release. Sisters noticed. Pale sister. Pray more. She did, prostrate in chapel snows drifting through cracks, but ecstasy eluded, replaced by hollow echo. February brought the article. Sisters of the Soil, splashed in Sunday edition, Alex's byline gleaming. Elena smuggled a copy, pour over and sell, glowing prose on sustainable faith her quoted. From decay life renews. But margins, Alex's notes in pencil. Miss you here. Heart clenched, she wrote back, first missive hesitant. Renewing alone. Love endures. Mailed and signed, fears compromise. Spring thawed slow, mud-sucking boots. Crocuses pushing earth like hope. Elena tended them, fingers in soil soft, whispering to bulbs. Brave little ones. Alex's calls came. Burner phone hidden in barn, voice crackling. Come to the city. Weekend. Elena's resolve frayed. Vows bind. Love freeze. Debates nightly, static hissing like tears. Mother's health rallied. She resumed duties, eyes sharper. A letter came for you. From the city. Sealed Alex's scrawl. Inside, ticket to Penn Station note. No more burying. Unearth us. The fracture peaked Vespers Eve. Elena in chapel, candlelit vigil for Easter, flames guttering wind sighs. Mother entered, face grave. Your heart wanders, child. The journalist, scandal whispers. Leave or recommit. Ultimatum landed like ash. Elena's knees buckled, sobs racking. I love her. God made me so. Mother's hand on shoulder, first soft. God makes all. But peace. Elena rose, decision crystallizing. I'll find mine. Dawn she packed sparse, habit folded, journal clutched. Sisters gathered cloister, faces tear-streaked, hugs fierce. Bless you, Margaret whispered. Mother crossed her. Go with grace. Van to town, then train, whistle mournful, tracks clicking rhythm to rebirth. City assaulted. Horns blaring, sidewalks thrumming, skyscrapers piercing clouds. Alex waited platform, eyes lighting supernova, arms engulfing. You came. Kiss public, unashamed, passers-by blurring. Cabin in Catskills, Alex's haven. Logs crackling, hearth, quilts piled, scent pine in her. They made love slow, exploring anew, no haste. Alex's mouth reverent on scars of doubt, Elena's hands mapping freedom's curves. Home, Elena breathed, climax a benediction. Days blurred. Hikes hand in hand, trails muddied spring. City jaunts, Alex's editorials read aloud over diner hash. Elena volunteered farms, bridging worlds. Faith's nurture, love's bloom. Months wove them. Elena's blog on queer spirituality, words pouring like rain. Alex's book dedication. To unburied light. Challenges came. Family calls judgmental, old friends prying, but together they weathered, roots deepening. One autumn dawn, years on, they stood New England Hill. Convent distant silhouette. Elena, hair loose, wind-tossed, Hand on Alex's swelling belly. Surrogate's gift, their miracle. From quiet, life awakens. Alex kissed her temple. And love buries nothing. Below, sisters waved faint. Absolution granted. The buried rose meaningful. Not loss but legacy, faith in self, love's quiet roar. In that light they walked forward entwined. The world's chaos their convent now.